Identifying unemployment, we look at how government measures unemployment, what problems we face in the illustration of employment data, why there'll always be some people unemployed, and how long a typical period of unemployment lasts. That they don't have a job and they're available to work at going wage rates. They may not make themselves available for work if they feel that the wage rate for the jobs are too low. This includes people who can afford not to work, such as millionaires. This does not mean that they are unemployed, as they are not available for work. The rate of unemployment in an economy consists of the number of people who are of working age, who are able and available for work at the current wage rate, and who do not have a job. There are two ways to measure unemployment: through the claimant count and labour force surveys. Claimant count, we count the number of people who are claiming unemployment benefit from the government, add the number of people in employment, add these together to get a number for the total labour force, and then to measure the unemployment rate, express the number of people seeking unemployment from the government as a proportion of the labour force. Rules for eligibility for employment benefit may change. If the government becomes strict on the rules for receiving unemployment benefit, the claimant count and measured unemployment rate will reduce. If the government becomes more lenient, the claimant count and measured unemployment rate will increase. Sample size of about 1.5 million, the government puts anyone older than 16 into one of three categories. If they spent some time in the previous week working at a paid job, they're considered employed. If they fit into the ILO definition of unemployed, they're considered unemployed. And someone who doesn't fit into the first two categories is considered not to be in the labour force. This is how you can calculate the labour force, the unemployment rate, and the labour force participation rate. From an agrarian economy to an industrial and manufacturing economy, which then evolved to a service industry. These stop wages adjusting accordingly to the supply and demand equilibrium. This price floor benefits groups with high unemployment, such as teenagers, and it actually leads to a surplus of labour. And in fact, most people are paid more than the minimum wage, so it doesn't benefit them. Union membership has steadily fallen all over the world. A union is a type of cartel that participates in collective bargaining to get employees higher wages, better benefits, and better working conditions. So, are unions good or bad for the economy? They're just a type of cartel. They raise wages, therefore reducing the quantity of labour demanded and reducing employment in unionised firms. They give employees better benefits, wages and protection and allow for a happy and productive workforce. This suggests that firms operate more efficiently if wages are above equilibrium level for these four main reasons. Demand deficient unemployment. Keynes believed that in the short run, demand could remain low, leading unemployment to persist. What is the natural rate of unemployment? Cyclical unemployment is the deviation of unemployment from its natural rate. The job separation rate is the number of people losing jobs. How do we calculate the natural rate of unemployment? What is job search?
The following slide gives an outline as to why some frictional unemployment is inevitable. What are sectoral shifts and why do they happen? What is the importance of public policy in regards to unemployment? Public policy is necessary to overcome unemployment for the following reasons. The measures include
unemployment insurance offers workers partial protection against job loss and reduces the hardship of unemployment. People who aren't eligible for the benefits. 1. People who choose to quit their jobs. 2. People fired for a just reason. And 3. People who just entered the workforce. The negative to unemployment insurance. It is argued that these benefits increase unemployment. This is because of incentives. When a person gets a job, the benefits stop, so it is argued that the unemployed devote less time to finding a new job. This policy achieves its goal. Despite the arguments against this policy, I believe it's not a bad one as it fulfills its job. It reduces income uncertainty that workers face. It provides temporary financial assistance to the unemployed, and it allows everyone to find the job that suits them best by turning down unattractive jobs and that was unemployment insurance in a nutshell. The rate hypothesis. John Maynard Keynes. Keynes was an early 20th century British economist. His work had challenges, especially that the price mechanism was subject to fundamental flaws. This meant unemployment wouldn't be short-term, whilst markets could be long-term market. It is clear the reason why markets didn't adjust to imbalances of supply and demand for labour was because of sticky prices and wages. Prices and wages don't move quickly to eliminate surpluses and shortages in the market. This can result in high unemployment in the short run. The use of monetary and fiscal policy could help markets to adjust and correct imbalances. National rate of unemployment can change over time. There are different reasons for this. The development in technologies influencing competitiveness, changes in the labour force structure, the proportion of different age groups and their level of experience, and improvements in job matching. The way this concludes the criticisms of the natural rate hypothesis. Karl Marx believed unemployment was necessary for capitalism to survive. Marx referred to unemployment as the reserve industrial army of labour. The reserve industrial army of labour. It consists of the long-term unemployed, women who look after their families, and those who move in and out of the labour market. Are all unemployed useful? Not all unemployed are useful. For example, the long-term unemployed aren't. The long-term unemployed have few skills, limited experience, and poor employment records. What is the labour force made up of? The labour force is made up of suppliers of labour, which are employees, and buyers of labour, which are employers. Everyone in this market is free to either buy or sell labour. Dangers of full employment. If full employment was a reality, finding a job would be a quick process. This would leave employees with power, forcing employers to compete with one another, which will cause wages to rise and working conditions to increase. To counter this, employers will invest more machinery, which may cause unemployment, as employers will not need as much workers. A balance must be found. To conclude, having a reserve army of unemployed is good. It ensures there is a surplus of people available to work in demand increases, and it also keeps the cost at normal level and allows profits to rise, which will incentivise firms to expand.
Unemployment costs affect the individual and the society and economy. Unemployment can lead to poverty. These are all problems that affect the individual. produces a multiplied effect on the economy.
Conclusions. We're going to look at the main learning outcomes and what. This presentation has discussed the measurement of unemployment, the reasons why economies always experience some degree of unemployment, and some of the costs of unemployment to society and just in general to the economy as a whole. We've also learned about how job search, minimum wage laws, unions, efficiency wages, and structural and technological changes can all explain why some workers do not have jobs. Now let's look at the main learning outcomes. So unemployment is not a simple problem with a simple solution. Even though the economy will always have some level of unemployment, its natural rate is not immutable. Rather, the natural rate of unemployment evolves. When high unemployment persists, the potential for social disorder and political upheaval is greater. So it's more within the government's prerogative to ensure the problems which can arise from unemployment are given more consideration in policy formulation. Now we're going to summarise some of the previous points made in the other chapters. The unemployment rate is calculated by the government based on thousands of household surveys on people who are willing and able to work but unable to find employment. Now, the fact that they're willing and able to work is important. Have some unemployment if minimum wage exceeds a wage that will balance supply and demand for the workers who are eligible for minimum wage. By raising this wage, minimum wage laws raise the quantity of labour supplied and reduce the quantity demanded. We measure unemployment through the resulting surplus. Let's review the theory of efficiency wages. This is when firms find it beneficial to pay employees above the equilibrium. The returns should be greater, which include improved staff morale, low staff turnover, and greater productivity. Another cause of unemployment can be structural changes in the economy, and result in firms and industries closing down, while new firms and industries grow. So it's not always practical or easy for people to find new jobs. Now let's look at John Maynard's key theory again. Governments should use fiscal policy to help alleviate unemployment by boosting government spending. In the short run, markets might not adjust because of sticky prices and wages, but in the long run, classical principles should hold. Now, the effect of unemployment can be devastating, especially to the individual. Unemployment affects individuals as it means lower incomes, loss of self-esteem, de-skilling, an increase in the possibility of mental health problems, family breakdown, and crime. But if we look collectively to society as a whole, the effect can be even more damaging. It includes the opportunity cost of lost output, which reduces potential growth, impact on government income and expenditure, the social cost of dealing with unemployment and its effects, the reverse multiplier effect, and the inefficient uses of resources. So now to reinforce what we've previously learned, we're going to try to do some questions to review. So the first question is a two-part question, and it is, why is frictional unemployment inevitable? And how might the government reduce the amount of frictional unemployment? And platforms similar to that. So the next question is, what is the hysteresis effect? This is a concept that states that history affects the value of a current issue. It states that historical rates of unemployment are likely to influence the current and future rates of unemployment. To relate this to a current topic, it could be the natural increase of unemployment that follows the pandemic of the coronavirus. Now, our final question to review is, why, according to Karl Marx, does capitalism need a reserve army of the unemployed? Basically, what he meant here is the availability of labour influences wage rates. The larger the unemployed workforce grows, the more this forces down wage rates. If there are plenty of jobs available and unemployment is low, this tends to raise the average level of wages. In that case, workers are able to change jobs rapidly to get better pay. Thank you for listening.